Hey Woodhaven family, and welcome back to the Journey 24/7 podcast. Today we are continuing our study in Exodus as we jump into Exodus chapter 35. We open up this chapter with Moses reminding the people of Israel the importance of the Sabbath, that for 6 days they shall work, but on the seventh day they shall rest, and it shall be the Lord's day. But then we continue on in this chapter, and as we've talked about, from here through the end of Exodus, we're going to see all of these things that the Lord had been telling Moses on Mount Sinai that were to happen, and the instructions he was giving him on how to build the tabernacle, the materials needed, the specifications, the dimensions, all of those things that the Lord was telling Moses on Mount Sinai. We're going to now see them actually starting to unfold. So it's going to seem maybe a little repetitive as we study it, because you're seeing the same things that the Lord's already commanded just come to fruition. But it's important for us to remember in all of this that, one, we'll probably have some shorter recaps during this time, because it is going to be a lot of stuff that we've already talked about. But there's one grand theme in this that we want to make sure we keep in mind each day as we're studying this. And that is that the Lord is always in control, that he commanded something to happen, he gave direction for it to happen, and now we see the people following that command. And now remember, the Israelites were not perfect people. We've seen that. We will see it again where they mess up and they fail because they are not perfect. But we're going to see here that they do have a heart to try to pursue after what the Lord has commanded of them. And we're seeing where there's growth in them and growth in Moses in leading them. So we first see here as we get into this next section that the people of Israel were actually going to be bringing and offering up these materials that were needed to build the tabernacle. So they were giving them as offerings. But notice that their offerings were not just the materials, but that they were actually their skills too. It says in verse 10, "Let every skillful craftsman among you come and make all that the Lord has commanded. The tabernacle, its tent and its covering, its hooks and its frames, its bars, its pillars and its bases, the ark with its poles, the mercy seat and the veil of the screen, the table with its poles and all its utensils, and the bread of the presence," and so on and so forth. I'm not going to read all of them because they're things we've talked about so far. But we're seeing that its offering is not just physical, tangible things, but no, it's actually skills that they had as well. Well, in the same way today, yes, we are called to tithe. We are called to give offerings to the Lord monetarily. But we're also called to give him our skills. Because here's what we must remember, that the Lord has blessed us both monetarily and with skills, and we are to use everything he has given us for his glory. So when we talk about offerings and tithes and things, yes, it's those tangible things, but it's also just allowing the Lord to use our talents and our gifts and our skills for his kingdom. That is what we are called to do, just as the people of Israel were being called to do here. And you notice here at the end of this section too, we see that this was a free will offering to the Lord. So this was not something that they were being required by law to do. This was them of their own hearts, their own desires for the Lord, their own love and gratitude to the Lord. They wanted to bring these offerings to him. It was an offering of their free will or their free agency to bring it and give it to the Lord. But we finish up this chapter seeing two names that are familiar to us. This is Moses coming to the people of Israel, and remember that what we've been looking at over the last few weeks for the most part has been just conversation between Moses and God on Mount Sinai. So the people of Israel haven't heard all of these commands so far. So Moses comes to the people of Israel and tells them that the Lord called Bezalel and Aholiab by name to kind of oversee this project, to have the skills that are necessary to make sure that the tabernacle is made in the specifications that the Lord has given. Now, obviously, as we've seen here, all the people of Israel are going to use their skills and their talents to help in this. But these were going to be the two people that really oversaw this, that took charge and led in this. In fact, we actually see the description is that he has filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill, with intelligence, with knowledge, and with all craftsmanship, to devise artistic designs, to work in gold and silver and bronze, in cutting stones for setting, and in carving wood, for work in every skilled craft. And he has inspired him to teach, both him and Aholiab. So they not just have these skills, but the Lord's actually now given them this desire and this inspiration to teach those skills. So they're going to be doing this project and overseeing it, but they're also going to be teaching those that are with them so that they can all work on this together. See, the Lord gave them a calling, but he also equipped them for it. That's what the Lord does. He calls us to things, but then he equips us for it. He doesn't call us to something that he hasn't equipped us to do. And now that doesn't mean that there won't be growing pains. Sure, as we grow in new skills, grow in new knowledge, grow in fill in the blank, there's going to be times where maybe we don't feel quite as equipped. But the Lord's still working on us and growing us in it and sanctifying us. So when he calls us to something, he is also equipping us to it. Praise God for that. That's going to wrap us up for today, though. We'll see you back here next week as we jump into our last week of Exodus, starting in Exodus chapter 36. Y'all have a great day.